Hey there, car enthusiasts! Today we dive into the world of sports cars with the iconic Supra MK4. But the burning question remains, is it really worth it $100,000? Let's begin by discussing what makes the Supra MK4 so special. Its legendary 2JZ engine is a masterpiece, delivering impressive power and a spine-tingling exhaust note. Let's hear it. The sleek and timeless design is a head-turner, and its handling capabilities are undeniable. I drive it all the time, and believe me when I say driving the Supra MK4 is like driving a pretty modern car from 2005 to 2010. The suspension, the drivetrain, the chassis with its fine rigidity, they give you the feeling that you aren't driving an old car from the 90s. Toyota back then did a phenomenal job of designing and overbuilding, over-engineering this car. All the details, mechanical and design-wise, are very well thought of. The interior stands out great compared to modern cars. Of course, the materials are 90s. So there's no aluminum or carbon fiber like on modern, expensive sports cars. But the general design is very driver-centric. For example, the whole console in front of you looks to the driver, and that gives a fighter cockpit feel, raising the hype for the driver. When you sit in the Supra, you know the car means serious business. Your brain tells you that something special will happen even before you turn the key on. And that's something that very few cars can make you feel. By the way, my FD back there, believe me, it's one of them. But that's a story for another video. Is all that worth the hefty price tag, though? To truly understand, we must consider the market demand. The Supra MK4 has become a sought-after collectible, my precious. And its value has skyrocketed in recent years. Its rarity and limited availability contribute to its exclusivity and allure. You're elusive thing, my friend. Anyways, does that alone justify the staggering price? Okay, let's start from the beginning. Back in 1993, the Supra costed $34,000. In today's money, that's something like $64,000. Not a cheap car, not a very expensive one. Comparing it though to the new Supra, the MK5, that sells for $55,000, the old Supra was actually more expensive. The prices dropped dramatically after the 2000, but a new movie franchise, the Fast and Furious, helped to bring Japanese sports cars into the main pop culture. The Supra and its buddies, like the FD, the GTR, or the S2000, the one back there, you see it, were no more the racer cars, cheap cars with no quality. Fast and Furious persuaded young people that there is more to JDM cars, and slowly they became legends. Who wouldn't want to be in Dominic Toretto's seat when he was racing Brian on the beginning of the first movie? And guess what? Toretto was driving a red RX-7 FD. I got goosebumps. They are laughing behind the camera. Yeah, he was driving this car. Not exactly this, something similar. So, who wouldn't want to be in his seat? And in the rest of the movie, Brian was driving an orange Supra MK4. Actually, a Targa one like this, where the Targa roof was easily ejected, not like reality. So, overnight, all these JDM cars became legends in the minds of teenagers like me. I was 20 years old, give or take, back then, in 2001, when the Fast and Furious film was released. But there was an issue. As teenagers, we didn't have any money to buy these cars, although we wanted to. 20-something years later, we are at our 40s, and guess what? We now have the money, and everyone wants to buy and drive their youth's dream cars. You understand now why the prices rose? Out of the madness, the car collectors who want these cars for monetary gains, buying them, keeping them as garage queens, and after some years selling them for hundreds of thousands of dollars profit. That's why the prices rose on the last years. Just for your information, 7 years ago, you could buy a Supra for only $6,000 to $10,000. Look at these magazine ads from the UK. It's amazing. Damn, I wish I could have bought like 4 or 5 Supras. I would be a rich guy now. Back then, I managed though to grab my Honda S2K, back then, my FD, my RX-7 FC, And on the last moment, I managed to buy my Supra. But to see the truth about the price, it's essential to evaluate the performance against modern-day sports cars. While the Supra MK4 was undoubtedly cutting edge back on the day, advancements in technology have led to even more powerful and capable machines, like the new Supra or the Corvette C8, which I love, or even a Tesla. Yeah, electrics. But anyways, Tesla is a nice and fast car, and very modern technology. These cars are now cheaper than the MK4 Supra, and at stock form they are also faster. But that's where the iconic 2JZ engine comes and saves the day. With just raising the boost, you can go from stock 320 horsepower to 450, changing the twin turbos for a single bigger one and adding some fuel injectors for extra fuel. You can go easily to 600 horsepower with not even opening the edge block. If you want even more, the 2JZ is known to reach 1000 horsepower or even more. So even though it's a 90s car, horsepower and speed is not an issue. And maybe that's what saves the Supra. And I believe that's the main reason people want the MK4 like crazy, because they can buy something legendary from the 90s, which can also play in the top league of today's sports cars or even supercars. In general, the Supra MK4 is not a slow car. It's a fast car, and it can become easily a very, very fast car, playing with the top dogs of today's newest and more technologically advanced cars. Of course, the handling, although great for a 90s car, isn't as sharp as today's sports cars, and in some sectors, like the gearbox, you can't compare it to the 8-gear automatic of the new Supra, for example, which I have driven a lot of times. The new Supra's gearbox is a lot faster because it's an automatic, but personally I would take the manual one any day. Although this means that I am slower, and I have to fight for every gear change because the R154 gearbox I have in my Supra MK4 is very slow and it's very hard on changing the gears. So in the end, we see that the Supra MK4 continues to hold its own against newer cars with more technology, providing an exhilarating and unique driving experience that never fails to thrill. Let's check some videos of me driving the Supra, and I hope you can get through the video the feeling and the craziness, the madness of driving this devil, I might say. Ultimately, whether the Supra MK4 is worth $100,000 comes down to personal preferences and appreciation for its legacy. For die-hard fans like me and collectors, owning this iconic piece of automotive history is priceless. You buy one and you make your childhood dreams come true. For others who weren't raised with the Fast and the Furious movies or posters of Supras and GTRs on their walls, the lofty price may be a deterrent and a turn-off. So, let's say the truth. Is a Supra MK4 worth $100,000? The answer lies in the eye of the beholder. It's a symbol of automotive excellence, a fusion of power and style that transcends mere numbers. It's a pop culture idol, whose name will be known to the car enthusiast community even after 100 years, when humanity will be driving electric cars or flying cars, or if there are any cars actually after 100 years, I don't know. But everyone will know the name of the Supra, the Toyota Supra. Whether you are a speed enthusiast, a collector, or someone captivated by its timeless allure, the Supra MK4 has a value that can't be measured in dollars alone. Personally, my opinion, after having owned one and driven one for a lot of time, is that the money is too much. You can even buy a used supercar with that money that provides more performance and more refinement, or maybe a better brand or a badge than the Supra. So thinking logically, you shouldn't buy the MK4. There are better machines to buy, that's the reality. But in our lives, we never do things only from logic. We usually use our hearts, and my heart says that my Supra is worth every last penny. So, thank you for joining us on this journey through the Supra MK4's legacy. We hope you found this exploration enlightening. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting automotive content. Stay tuned for our next adventure. And please write on the comments what car from our garage you want to see us driving, or explain what we have done to it, how we have tuned it, or any other question you have. We will be very glad to answer it, even with a video. So, thank you and bye-bye.